Hello, this is New Vision TV and here's the latest. I'm Lynn Komjisha. Many Ugandans have been murdered in cold blood over the past few years. Some rest in peace and remain only a memory, but others refuse to rest in their graves and keep wreaking havoc, as if demanding that their deaths be avenged. New Vision TV samples a few of both.
One man who seems to be resting in peace is General James Kazini, a man who spent most of his adult life in combat situations around the Great Lakes region, but was easily killed by a small-bodied woman. Lydia Dralu, Kazini's lover, promptly sent for police after she clobbered the 6'4" general on the head, killing him accidentally. Probably her admission of guilt is what appeased Kazini into quietness. About a dozen Muslim clerics have been slain in cold blood following a list of the intended victims that was released by the killers. Although their shooting to death was always widely publicized and dominated headlines whenever it occurred, little progress was ever made in prosecuting the culprits. The sheikhs seem to be resting in peace. Another sheikh who in addition also had military credential was Major Mohammed Chigundu. He was slain in cold blood one early morning on November 26, 2016 by border riding assassins. His dear wife, Sylvia Sophia Namtevi, also known as Mama Fina, did not spend long before replacing him first with a local politician and later with a Cheyo fellow from the UK within 1 year. Chigundu seems not to mind, and he is resting in peace. Also resting in peace are dozens of innocent young women from Nansana and Entebbe who were cruelly murdered after being raped and having sticks shoved into their private parts. 1 year since the peak of the gruesome murders, no serious progress has been made to get to the bottom of their murders, and they seem not to be causing many people any sleepless nights. The case of social worker Kenneth Akena Watman, who was murdered in November 2016 after accidentally crashing somebody's car in Lugogo, Kampala, has gone very quiet. After spending several months on remand, the prime suspect was given bail and the trial may not proceed for the foreseen future. Granting the key suspect, who is accused of shooting fatally Akena in the stomach, the judge said that courts are still dealing with cases of crimes committed in 2013, so the Akena murder trial may not be heard again in this decade. But then, some Ugandan murder victims seem to have refused to rest in peace. These are led by Assistant Inspector General of Police Andrew Felix Kawesi, slain in a hail of bullets on the morning of March 17, 2017. Scores upon scores of people have been arrested as suspects since then. Some were officially charged. Some are said to have been killed. All taxpayers have to pay for the torture hours given to suspects. The mayor of Kamwenge had his knees drilled with holes during torture. Senior police officers have been arrested by the military in connection with Kawesi's death. The image of the Uganda police collapsed over the murder of Kawesi, who was its spokesman, and the subsequent cover-ups. Since Assistant Director of Public Prosecutions Joan Kagesi was shot in cold blood as her children watched in March 2015, the DPP says there is no evidence to prosecute the 8 suspects arrested over the offense. The arrests could as well be cover-up acts, like in the case of Andrew Felix Kawesi. But the security officers keep struggling with the difficulty of getting some clues. Joan is not resting. The 28-year-old Susan Magara was killed early this year after weeks of torture in captivity by kidnappers who were demanding for $1 million from her father, Mr. Fitzgerald Magara, and after he paid $200,000 to them. Over 8 suspects have since been arrested, even including the family lawyer, Wan Muzamiru. Security forces have been to and from South Africa to try and extradite another suspect. Susan Magara is clearly not resting. Retired Colonel and Arua MP Ibrahim Abiriga was shot dead with his brother bodyguard in his famous yellow car as returned home on the evening of June 8th near Kampala. Mukono Municipality MP Betty Nambos was arrested over the murder because of a social media post she made, and her travel to India for treatment was delayed before police could let her go from her hospital bed. She is currently fighting for her life in an Indian hospital. Abiriga's death is also going to plunge the treasury into an expense of hundreds of billions of shillings to procure armored cars and equip battalions of sharpshooters for new security details of all 456 members of parliament. Abiriga is not trusting. On January 2nd this year, Mr. Francis Ekalunga, an accountant with Case Clinic in Kampala, was driving to the bank when he was abducted and murdered. His body was burnt beyond recognition. His employer's money was taken by killers who also tried to dispose of his car. Much as Ekalunga was not prominent, his murder shook the country as it led to the arrest of the powerful patron of the notorious Boda Boda 2010 militia, Abdallah Chitata. More people have since been arrested as more scary involvement in high crimes against the state start coming out. Ekalunga too is known resting. Another person who was hardly known before her death but has refused to stay dead is Miss Betty Donna Katshabe, a single mother who was cruelly tortured to death in Pine Car Bond on Lumumba Avenue in Kampala in November 2015. Katshabe was killed for delaying with the installments she was to pay on an old car, with the interest plus principal culminating to 9 million shillings. The car owner, Muhammad Sebufu, who led the torture, is still on trial for Katshabe's murder, while the former DPC of Central Police Station, Aaron Baguma, was accused of supervising or watching the torture that ended in death. Katshabe's case has refused to go away, and possibly thinking of her poor kids, her ghost has refused to rest. Although many victims are not receiving justice anytime soon, the legal maxim that justice delayed is justice denied still holds. For now, the rest can as well pray for divine intervention.
Moving on, Arua municipality will hold NRM primaries today to choose a flag bearer to represent the party in the August by-election. Meanwhile, the Electoral Commission maintains nominations are scheduled for July 19th and 20th. This emerged during a closed-door meeting that was attended by all the 8 candidates that are contesting in the primary elections. On Monday, the NRM announced that the elections had been postponed but had not mentioned clearly when the elections would be held again. The party claimed they were not fully prepared and the candidates were given insufficient time to campaign. According to Tangaradoi, the NRM Electoral Commission chairperson, candidates are supposed to be given 2 weeks to campaign, but the 8 candidates were given only 5 days. And now a speeding taxi registration number UBB 408M knocked 5 people on 3 different motorcycles Monday night. The first motorcycle had 2 people, the second had 1 person, while the third had 2 people on board. Adam Farid, an eyewitness working at Baka petrol station near Ragem Technical Institute along Arua Nebi Kampala Highway, where the accident occurred, said the second person was critically injured and later died. Meanwhile, 4 other people were injured and rushed to Rema Hospital and others taken to nearby health facilities. Police spokesperson West Nile Region Josephine Angushia confirmed that 1 person identified as Zubeiri Anguzu, aged 34 years, died shortly on arrival to Rema Hospital, while 2 other people who sustained injuries are still receiving treatment at various health facilities which she could not disclose. In sports news, the She Cranes are looking forward to play in the Echo Arena in Liverpool, venue of the 2019 Netball World Cup, when they face the England Roses. The games will be held on November 27th, 30th and December 2nd. The Echo Arena will host the first of the 3 friendly matches on November 27. Action will then move to the Copper Box Arena in Stratford for the 2nd and 3rd games on November 30th and December 2nd. This will be the second time the 2 sides meet this year. They first met at the Commonwealth Games in Australia, where Uganda lost 55-49. She Cranes, the African champions, will be out to demonstrate once again their talent and potential on the international stage and make up for the defeat at the games against England. You're still watching New Vision TV, and now for Pearl of Africa series, we take a look at River Nile. The River Nile is the longest river in the world. This river starts from Jinja in eastern Uganda and flows through West Nile and thereafter joins other countries. The Nile is the longest river in Africa as well as the world, flowing through 11 African countries of Ethiopia, Eritrea, Sudan, Uganda, Tanzania, Kenya, Rwanda, Burundi, Egypt, the Democratic Republic of Congo, and South Sudan. Let's take a look.
River Nile is well known to be the longest river, not only in Africa but also in the world. Its source starts right here in Jinja district, located in the eastern part of Uganda. Lake Victoria happens to be the source of River Nile as it flows north, connecting in different 6 countries. It flows from the surrounding areas close to the equator to the outrageous Sahara Desert and up to the eastern Mediterranean Sea. This true description of why Uganda is called the Pearl of Africa even provides power to Ugandans from the Owen Falls Dam. The dam gives electricity to the country, enabling them carry out their daily activities. The banks of the Nile are also too fertile, hence favoring agriculture. It is that time of the year when people start discussing where they're going to spend their vacation. These activities offer a unique way to explore the River Nile banks, passing through farms, forests, and villages besides the Nile. Some of the activities to find are water rafting, bungee jumping, boat rides, as well as fishing. Now, for more Pearl of Africa stories, visit our website www.newvision.co.ug. Our newspaper, The Sunday Vision, is another home of adventures, so grab your copy every Sunday for Pearl of Africa stories.
And that's all we had for you. Thank you for watching. Be sure to catch more of your updates on your mobile, on your desktop, on your tablet, anywhere on the go by visiting www.newvision.co.ug. I am Lynn Komjisha.